Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to A Life of a Woman, the podcast where we explore holistic health, cycle syncing, manifestation, and just the magic of living in alignment. I am your host, Callie, and I caught myself today actually feeling quite nervous to start this. And so I just sat with it a minute and just reflected on it. And I think it's because this is just going to more and more places. I was just recording the audio and then I started doing Instagram lives when I'm recording the audio. And then now my videos also go on YouTube. And I just caught myself feeling a bit nervous and just getting into a bit of that perfectionist kind of mindset and just, camera angles and hairstyles and just all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, no, this is not why I wanted to start this because I am a pretty vulnerable, raw, take it or leave it. This is what you get kind of person. So I just wanted this to be like super authentic process and content and what I put out there. Just wanted it to be like I was just hanging with my friends. So this is my reminder to me and to you that this is really just me just having a conversation. There's a lot of speakers and microphones and high def cameras now that I need to just ignore and just go back to remembering that this is just me having conversation with my friends. I don't do any editing out of, me having a quick drink or a cough here or there. Like I don't do any editing. I just want it to be kind of how it comes. So yeah, just a reminder to me that this is what you get, take it or leave it. And but also to you, as I haven't actually said thank you to listening to my podcast. So I am up to episode 20 today, which is a huge milestone in the podcast world. So thank you so much for listening in, for giving me your feedback, for messaging me when you feel there's something that you've connected with. I really thrive off of getting those messages and knowing what you've connected with, what you've loved, what resonated, what gave you a new idea, because I did start this podcast project as something that I wanted to do, and I am still doing it as something that I wanted to do, regardless of the outcomes. Like, I'm just loving this kind of podcasting space and the growth that comes with it, and just being able to get my message out there. But really, there is like that level of fulfillment and massive appreciation and gratitude for you for listening, for being here, for watching. If you're in the visual space, yeah, I just really wanted to say thank you for all of your time being here and for your messages. Please keep them coming because I would love to know what you want to hear more of, what you're really connecting with. But yeah, I just wanted to put that up front to shake off these nervousness that I have been getting lately and just be like, no, I'm just here with my friends. It's all cool. We're all just hanging out together. So, all good. Let's get into today's episode because today we are diving into one of my favorite topics that we haven't really covered so much yet on this podcast, and that is manifesting, and particularly manifesting with the moon. So because this week is the Aries new moon, so it's a pretty significant moon. And so I'll get into that later, but I just thought this is great timing. So if you've ever felt stuck in manifesting your dreams or wondered how to work with the moon's energy to amplify your intentions, or that you know that you want more and you want to do better and have better and be better, but you just don't know how to achieve it without burning out, or, having so much control over the situation. So if that's any of that is you, then this episode is for you. So I'll be sharing my manifestation formula that I've been using for 4 years now. I'll share why it works and how to use the moon as a manifesting framework. Plus, we'll explore how to connect with the Aries new moon in particular and discover which area of life that you should focus on, by finding your rising sign. So grab a journal. There'll be plenty of notes that you'll want to get down, get cozy, and let's dive in to today's episode. So to start with, my story. So I never knew how something as simple as connecting with the moon could have such enlightening and uplifting impact on my life. So for the longest time, I was someone who believed that success only came from constant hustle. So pushing myself to the limits, always striving, always chasing, always working, always doing. I'm a Virgo. I'm a type A, overachiever, acts of service, love language kind of person. So I am always doing. I've always like grown up in my masculine as well. So I am just always doing. I'm always switched on. I'm always looking for the next thing. Growth and transformation is really big in my birth chart as well. So I'm always looking for the next thing and looking how to level up and get better and be better and have better and all that kind of stuff. So that path, though, it led me to burnout, frustration, exhaustion, all those things that you would expect from so much doing and like control. And so I wasn't living in flow. I was fighting against myself and the natural rhythms of life. So I was achieving, but it came at the cost of my mental health and just enjoyment of life because I was always switched on to my task list or to-do list. So I just wasn't, thriving in life. I was just doing life. But things started to shift for me when a dear friend, her name is Alex. Give her a little shout out, and she will actually be on the podcast in a couple of weeks. I'm so excited to have her on, and this is also why I wanted to kind of introduce this topic now. But things really started changing for me when she introduced me to moon tracking and astrology in a way that made sense. Like, literally, I didn't realize at the time, but that like hour or two conversation that we had, it like I knew it got the clogs turning in my head, but I did not know what kind of path it would then set me on and lead me here and just all the things that it's helped me to manifest and to forgive and move on from. Like, I did not realize how significant that day and that conversation would be with her. So, just so much appreciation for Alex, and I can't wait for her to come on the podcast and share her story as well because it really solidified for me our conversation because I was into that. I was into astrology and moon tracking. I'd always loved reading horoscopes. I was a spiritual person, but never knew kind of what that actually meant. Like I grew up feeling very spiritual, but I had no idea what that meant or how to practically like what do I do to be spiritual, And I didn't want to be too woo-woo like for my like you got to find your own level of spirituality and woo woo and how that feels good for you. So understanding the moon's cycles like seemed really grounded and clear, and a really beautiful cycle because nature is such a significant like being in our life. Like we should all be connecting to nature every day, and we have all these beautiful cycles in our life that can provide so much magic to us if we just tap into them. And so by understanding how the moon cycles like influence my energy, emotions, our ability to manifest, like it was just a game changer. So pretty much straight away after that day, after that conversation, I began tracking the new and full moons. So there are actually 8 moon phases, but I just focus on the new moon and the full moon phases. So I began tracking those and setting my intentions and aligning my action steps with this cycle. And it was such a beautiful time that it came into my life because I was struggling with personal challenges, so like my fertility journey. And I will record a podcast soon on our struggle to conceive, because it was such a significant period in my life, in our life. So I will record that soon. But this came to me during that fertility journey through the darkest, hardest time of my life. This came to me during that time, and it was such a beautiful light that I could channel my energy and focus into. But I was also making like career decisions as well, as a few other things that were going on in my life. So by incorporating this moon journaling into my life, I found clarity, like so much emotional release, and a deeper connection to myself and to my spirituality and to something bigger than myself as well. Like that's where my faith in the universe grew as well during this time. So just having that real deep connection to the natural cycles in my life, so menstrual cycles and moon cycles, but also that deep connection to my faith in the universe. Like it's just totally changed my life. So at this time, when I had started moon journaling, I was like so in love with it straight away. So I started a moon club with my friends. So cool. I didn't know what else to call it because everyone was having book clubs, and I was like, I don't read like quick enough. I need something else. So I created a moon club. I absolutely loved it. There was like it just kept growing with my friends. I think there was like two or three of us that started in there, and then there was like five, and then eight of us, and it was just so cool. So each new moon and full moon, we would just gather online and share like our intentions or our reflections and how the new moon and full moon was affecting us. And it just became one of the most grounding and empowering practices in my life and something I really looked forward to. And it was actually that moon club or that moon group that was where I was ever first able to verbalize that we were struggling to conceive and really just brought that all to the forefront of my life and realizing that it was actually affecting me way more than I realized. So yeah, the beautiful friends in that group, they were the first to hear of that journey and just kind of the emotional release that they noticed in me when I was telling them about it. Like they commented on that. So it was just so beautiful to have that space of friends that I could finally share what was happening. But fast forward to now, and I use this framework to manifest everything from career shifts to personal growth to helping other women create a life they love. And so that's what I want to share with you today. So moon connections, moon cycles. So since ancient times, humans have tracked the moon and its influence on emotions, energy, and even our bodies. So we are deeply connected to this cosmic rhythm. And when we align with the moon cycle, we create flow, ease, and clarity in our manifestations. If you're a bit less woo-woo and need some grounding thoughts before diving into this practice and belief, and sometimes I can be a bit as spiritual and woo-woo as I am, sometimes I just need like a little bit of facts to like get me over the line. So just something to consider is that the moon impacts the oceans and the water bodies. Like that's a known fact. And we as humans are made up of 70% of water. So it would make sense that the moon also has influence over us. How can it not? So the new moon marks a fresh start, a time to plant seeds and set intentions. And then 2 weeks later, there's a full moon, and that illuminates our progress, helps us reflect and release what no longer serves us. And I'll go into those in a bit more later. But when you work with the moon, you stop forcing things and you start flowing with the powerful natural cycle that is already happening around you. This is one of the biggest shifts that I experienced in my own manifesting journey, and it changed everything because, especially for me, who, as I said, is so type A overachiever, actually having this natural cycle and this balance. So, not just doing the work and setting the intentions and goals, but also doing the healing work and the reflection and the release and the forgiveness and the gratitude. It's such a beautiful balance that we all need that reminder, and nature is just a beautiful balance. And so connecting with it just really, really amplifies our outcomes on this journey. So that was my journey into tracking the moon. And then I added in my manifestation formula. So this is something that after a couple of months of moon tracking, I was like, yes, this is how I manifest. Because when I noticed I was doing all three, that is when things were coming to light for me. They were becoming reality. So I developed a simple yet powerful manifesting formula that brings structure and clarity to a beautiful flowing process. So my manifestation formula is vision plus action plus faith. So you need those three things to manifest with ease, with flow, and manifest more and better than you ever thought possible. So you need vision. So you need to get clear on what you want, be specific, but dream big. Like, do not hold yourself back. Like, dream big. I'm such a dreamer, a visionary person. Dream big. And then you also need the action. You need to take the aligned action, like I was already doing, but it needs to be aligned and inspired steps towards your action. So the action doesn't have to be the hard stuff. Like when you're actually taking aligned and inspired action because you know it's working towards your vision, it actually feels easier. It feels so aligned and it feels on purpose. So even though some of the work can be hard, it just feels easier. It has that more inspiring, purposeful feeling about it. And then the third thing that you need is that faith. So trust in divine timing and co-creating with whoever you have your faith in, whatever you have your faith in. So whether it be universe or spirit or God or whatever else you have your faith in, just have that faith that you are co-creating with them. So by putting that vision out there into the world, into the universe, you're saying, this is what I'd like. And then you're doing your part by taking the aligned action, taking those aligned steps. But then the other part, your partner is your universe, God, whoever is co-creating with you. So you're working together to get you to that vision. It's just so beautiful. And part of that is that I really had to learn is that you need to let go of timing. And as a side note, in all of my goal setting, for myself and for clients and everyone else, I do not set timelines anymore because I was getting so caught up on the timeline and, like counting down and not seeing progress or, crap, there's only 3 weeks to go and I haven't seen this or, timing and, having, say, I want this goal in 6 months or I want this goal in 4 weeks or whatever. That was overcoming. That was taking over all of my thoughts rather than just sitting in the vision of this is what I want and these are the steps I need to get there. And I have to let go of the timing. And the biggest learning for that for me was our struggle to conceive because it took us 14 months, which I know is not long for a lot of other partners and couples out there that are struggling to conceive. But that was for a type A who will work 24 hours to make something happen. Like that was the biggest learning for me is that you can do all the steps but you cannot control the timing. Like it will come when it's meant to come. So just having that faith that you are not doing this alone, you are co-creating and you just need to say, this is what I want, but you release when it's going to happen. Oh my gosh, just that pressure. That pressure is just, oh, I already feel that release now just talking about it. It just feels so much better. So if you only have action, you're on a hamster wheel. You're always doing, but you're never feeling fulfilled because you're never reaching a vision, a goal at the next level. If you have a vision without action, you're just stuck in the longing and frustration and wanting something better, but never achieving it. And if you lack the faith, then you'll find yourself exhausted and stressed and clinging to that control. But when you have all three, manifestation just flows. And manifesting is your thoughts and vision becoming reality. That's what manifestation is. And it's just, oh, it just flows so much more easily and enjoyable as well. So, how can we use the moon to manifest? So, you can manifest on your own. I know everyone's talking about manifesting, especially in the last few years. Manifesting has become such a big thing. So you can manifest totally on its own without connecting to the moon, without using that as your framework. But I found true faith and comfort in manifesting with the moon because the moon, it's a natural cycle, as I said, and I freaking love nature. We need to be connecting more with nature. But the moon cycle provides a step-by-step manifesting structure that is balanced as well. Like I said before, that balance is so beautiful. So with my manifesting and what I always recommend people doing is connecting with the new moon and the full moon. They're the big ones. They're the significant ones. As I said, there's 8 moon phases. There's the waxing and the waning and the quarters but the new moon and full moon, that's when everything is really heightened. That's like the peak. Both they're the 2 peaks within the moon cycle. So, the new moon, this is the time for new beginnings. It's a powerful phase for setting intentions, for planting seeds for what you want to create, and getting clear on your desires. So, the energy is fresh and it's a perfect time to dream big. I love dreaming big, but also starting something new. So, write down your goals, visualize them as if they've already come true, and take the first steps towards them, no matter how small. So during the new moon, the moon is dark in the sky. You actually can't see it, but it's like a clean slate. You know, you're planting the seeds at the new moon. All right, you're planting those seeds. And then the full moon, which is the middle of the moon cycle, that's when the full moon, it's the peak of the lunar cycle, of the moon cycle, all right? That's where things come to light. It's like shining because the moon is bright, it's, full, it's bright, it's shining a light on the things that we were hiding or ignoring or haven't realized, but they will come to light. Like the full moon is shining a light on those things, on those shadows, on those things that we either weren't aware of or were trying to just push to the side and not acknowledge. So this can be an emotional time. So be kind to yourself, but this is the time to work through those things and heal those things. It's a time for reflection, celebration, and release. Reflect and release is what I like to do at full moons. So look back on what you've achieved since the last new moon or since the last new moon. Acknowledge your progress and let go of anything that's no longer serving you. This is the time to make room, out with the old so that the new moon can bring in the new, out with the old and things that whatever's not serving you anymore, whatever's holding you back and holding you down. This is the time to release those limiting beliefs, those fears, those emotional blocks that are holding you back from manifesting your desires, because you can't bring in the new and the beautiful and the next level if you haven't worked through that old baggage. If you haven't unpacked those old suitcases, if you've still got them sitting around, you can't bring in the beautiful new shiny ones. So practicing gratitude and forgiveness is especially powerful under the full moon. So each calendar month has a new moon and a full moon. So each month we are called to consider our wishes and intentions of one life area and release the negativities of another life area. So it's this beautiful balance. So we're always creating while we're healing as well. So by tuning into this rhythm, we naturally align with cycles of growth and transformation. And growth and transformation is like huge in my birth chart. It's like one of my top values as well. It's like huge. This is what I'm all about. If you're wanting to grow and transform, hit me up. So, all right. This week we have an Aries new moon. Aries is the start of the zodiac calendar. So it's like the celebration of a whole new year. So this is like the zodiac new year. It's a beautiful time to start your moon manifesting practice. So here are some ways that you can connect to the new moon, but you can use these things to connect to any new moon. All right. So at any new moon, consider your intentions and your wishes, and I suggest that you journal. 100% recommend journaling at new moons and full moons. Write out your intentions clearly and get specific. So this is your opportunity to do that visioning and do that visualizing as well. So you might like to do the visualizing before you're journaling, but imagine your goal is already achieved and feel it. So visualizing is kind of like you're meditating. So either before or after you're journaling, but just visualize what it is that you want as though you've already achieved it so that you can get that whole body feeling and that celebration already and feel like you've already got it so that you're in that state. But also go and do some grounding practice. So spending time in nature to clear out the negative energy that might be or the stagnant energy that you might still have in your body and mind. go out into nature, do some grounding. And then new moons as well is about taking the inspired action. So even small steps count. So whatever it might be, send that email, sign up for a class, make a call, reach out, whatever it is. New moons are for the taking the action as well towards your vision. Now, so that was new moon. So how do we like connect with this Aries new moon in particular? So Aries, as I said, it's the first sign of the zodiac. So the Aries energy, it's all about new beginnings, action, bravery, and independence. So this is the perfect time to set bold intentions, start fresh, and take action toward your goals. So Aries energy, it's a fire sign. Each zodiac sign has an element. So Aries is a fire sign. So the energy is very fiery, very passionate, very driven. This new moon invites us to step up, be courageous, and make things happen. So the Aries new moon, there are two ways that we can connect with this, and there's one that I particularly focus on. So I'll explain that. So Aries new moon affects us all in the same way with that energy that I just explained. Great time for new beginnings, taking action, being brave, stepping up, making things happen. That affects us all in that same way. But I like to focus on how Aries affects us individually and connect that with our manifesting practice. Because I always notice stronger connections when I look at where Aries is in my personal birth chart rather than just looking at the Aries energy in general. I love looking at where Aries is in our birth chart, and then that is saying how Aries is going to affect me personally. Oh, and when you see what happens in your life at each of the new and full moons and how it's represented in your birth chart, oh, goosebumps. Goosebumps. So to personalize this moon's energy, so you need to look at where Aries falls in your birth chart, specifically which house Aries is in for you. So think of houses as life areas, and there are 12 of them. So there are 12 life areas when we're looking at our birth chart and astrology and the zodiac. There are 12 zodiacs, there are 12 life areas. So looking at which house or which life area that Aries is in for you because it's an Aries new moon, this is going to tell you the area of life where the new moon is calling you to take action. So this really helps you channel and get focused and just consider one area of life. So rather than saying it's an Aries new moon, think about what you want and take steps. And that's for some people, that's great. That's the big picture. That's really big and broad. But for others, it's like, let's focus on one life area. So it might just be career, or it might just be money, or it might just be friends. Yeah. And that's where you really start to see the magic that's already happening. You're like, oh, I won't swear, but oh my goodness, I cannot believe this is happening in my life at this time because of this moon. Like, how crazy is that this is all happening? It's all aligned. So to know where Aries is and in your birth chart and how it's affecting you, you need to know your rising sign. So in astrology and looking at your birth chart, you will have a sun, a moon, and a rising sign. So the three signs. So you'll often hear people talk about their sun sign. They'll say, I'm a Virgo or I'm a Libra. So that is their sun sign. But to know where Aries or any zodiac sign is in your chart, you need to know your rising sign or your ascending sign, it's sometimes called. So if you don't know your rising sign, just do an internet search for an online birth chart calculator. So I really love Yasmin Boland and all of her work. That's who my friend got me onto. So Yasmin Boland, if you just search her name and birth chart calculator, then it should come up and you just enter your birth date, birth time, and the location of your birth, and that will spit out your whole birth chart with your sun, your moon, your rising sign, but also Also, where all the planets were in your chart. And I'm not going to get into that in this episode, but I've done a lot of work unpacking my whole birth chart and the planets and how everything is like all the lessons in life and purpose in life. And oh, it's just such beautiful work when you get into it. But anyway, that's your first step is to find your rising sign. Go online, use a birth chart calculator, and it will tell you your rising sign or your ascending sign. So then step two, once you know your rising sign, Aries will rule a specific house in your chart. So then what you do, once you know your rising sign, list the zodiac signs in order of the zodiac calendar. So the zodiacs have a particular order that they come in. So list them all down and then so for example, my rising sign is Scorpio. So I would list Scorpio and as number one, and then Sagittarius, Capricorn, like then I would list the zodiac calendar under that. And then what you do is you put a number in chronological order, 1 to 12. You're going to number all of those zodiac signs. So number one is your rising sign. So Scorpio is my rising sign. So I'm going to put a number one next to that. The next sign in the zodiac calendar is Sagittarius. So then I'm going to put a number two next to that. The next sign in the zodiac calendar is Capricorn. So I'm going to put a number three next to that, and so on. So that each zodiac sign has a number of 1 to 12 next to it. So that's how you actually find which house or which life area all the zodiac signs, that will tell you which life area they rule over and you have that energy for. So if you know your rising sign, I can actually tell you the houses now. So if you haven't got your rising sign yet, pause this podcast, go jump online, spit out your birth chart and get your rising sign, and then come back here and I'm going to tell you what life area the Aries is going to be affecting you this week, this fortnight. It's really kind of like a fortnight that you'll really see those deep connections. So Aries is affecting you based on your rising sign. Okay, so if you're an Aries rising, obviously that's the number one for you. So Aries rising is the first house. So that is affecting your identity, personal reinvention, your self-image, your confidence. All right, so just remember these themes because then I'm going to tell you how to specifically apply it to the manifesting formula. If you're a Taurus rising, Aries new moon is affecting your 12th house. So that's your spiritual growth, your subconscious healing, your limiting beliefs. If you're a Gemini rising, it's affecting your 11th house. So your friendships, community, social circles, networking. Cancer rising, it's affecting your 10th house. So career, reputation, long-term goals, and public image. Leo rising, it's affecting your 9th house. So your expansion, your travel, your learning, higher education, and big dreams. Virgo rising, it's affecting your 8th house. Transformation, intimacy, shared resources, and deep healing. 7th house is for Libra rising. So Libra rising is 7th house, which is relationships, partnerships, love, and commitments. Scorpio rising, so that's me. Aries is affecting your 6th house, which is daily habits, health, routines, work-life balance. Sagittarius rising, it's affecting your 5th house, so creativity, joy, romance, passion, self-expression. Capricorn rising, it's affecting your 4th house, so home, family, emotional security, and roots. Aquarius rising, it's affecting your 3rd house, so communication, learning, writing, and self-expression. And Pisces rising, it's affecting your 2nd house, so money, self-worth, abundance, and personal resources. There you go. So that is based on your rising sign. That is the life area that the Aries new moon is affecting you. And then step 3 is now that you know that, now you set your intentions with the Aries new moon. So now that you know which life area Aries is influencing, you need to journal on that specifically on what you want to manifest in that area. So when I connect with the new moon, I really love to do a free flow journaling. So it's just a brain dump of what I like, new moon or full moon, whatever it's, whichever moon it is. It's just a brain dump on what's happening in that life area for me. So as I said, I'm a Scorpio rising, so it's affecting my sixth house of daily habits, health routines, and work-life balance. So I'll just be doing a brain dump of what is happening in that life, or actually, because it's a new moon, it's about our intentions and our wishes. So I'll be doing a brain dump of what do I want to happen in that area of my life? What do I want my health to look like? What do I want my work-life balance to look like? And I'll just be doing a big dump, like a visioning. It's like a visioning exercise. So just writing down everything, what I want that area to look like, what my days feel like, what it feels like to be living that life, like my daily habits to create that kind of lifestyle. So it's creating a vision. And then from there, you know what aligns actions that you can take to help create that vision. So you're writing it down, you're putting it out to the universe. This is what I want. This is what I want this life area to look like. And then I actually don't usually need to reflect on that ever again. I just can then put it aside. I definitely write it down, but I then just know it's just so clear to me. This is what I want. And then I just take steps without no hustle and bustle, no overachieving, no overworking. It's just, I just know that every day, every week, that's what I'm working towards. I have no idea when it's going to, come to me, when I'm going to be living that reality, but I know that it's coming to me because that's the vision. I've told the universe, I've told myself, this is what I would like to happen. And then I take those aligned actions and I just have faith knowing that it's coming to me. There's no other option. When you put these things out there, that or better is coming to you. When you have the vision, you take the aligned steps and you have the faith that you just know that it's coming. You don't know when, you don't know how, but it's going to come to you, that or better. And I've just lived that so many times. So some other manifestation prompts for this Aries new moon, some things you could journal on, things to consider are what bold actions do I need to take this month or the next 6 months to get to that vision? How can I step into my power more fully? How can I step into that persona or that person, that next level person that is living that lifestyle? How can I step into that? And what new beginnings am I ready to embrace? What could I start or pivot or, how can I bring about that more quickly? Not more quickly, but what is, yeah, what could I start doing to get me to that vision? And then just an affirmation for everyone to finish off this episode. An affirmation for the Aries new moon is I am bold, courageous, and unstoppable. And I take inspired action towards my dreams. So the Aries new moon is a powerful opportunity to start fresh, take that bold action and manifest fiercely. Like, do not hold back your visions. Do not hold them back. Know that anything is possible in this life because someone has probably already achieved what you are visioning. So everything is possible. Use this moon cycle as your guide to trust the process. And remember, you are co-creating with the universe, God, whoever you have that faith in. So if you have any questions about this process, I hope you journaled it down, or re-listen to this episode, but please jump over to Instagram and send me a DM if you've got any questions. I would love to help you understand this and really bring this into your regular routine. This is definitely something that I do with every new moon and full moon each month. So twice a month, I am following this process or similar. The full moon is slightly different. And I'll do an episode on that another time. But yeah, it's just such a beautiful process that has just brought so much joy to my life. And I've achieved more now than before, but it's been easier. It's been so much easier. And yeah, way more enjoyable. If you loved this episode, please screenshot it and post it on Instagram, tag me on Instagram, share your biggest takeaway. I would love to jump over and celebrate you and your manifesting, your visions, your actions, your outcomes. I would love to celebrate you. So please post it on Instagram and tag me, and let's just inspire each other to manifest the life we desire. Like, seriously, do not hold back. I get so excited thinking about or hearing about what others want to create and then just how we can go about creating it. So until next time, keep shining, keep manifesting, and keep living a thriving, healthy life of a woman. I'll talk to you next week.